Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night with your leg twisted in pain, feeling like your calf was being squeezed by some invisible hand? Or maybe you've been enjoying a peaceful walk in the park, only to suddenly stop, gripping your leg as that all-too-familiar cramp tightens up out of nowhere. If you've been there, you know how frustrating, and sometimes frightening, those moments can be. The truth is, as we get older, leg cramps aren't just a nuisance. They can steal our confidence, limit our mobility, and leave us worried about when the next one might strike. But the good news is, there's a lot more we can do about it than just hoping it won't happen again. You see, our muscles don't just move on their own. They rely on a careful balance of nutrients, tiny building blocks inside our bodies that help everything from the way we breathe to the way we walk. And when we start missing just a few of these nutrients, our muscles speak up, loudly, through cramps, tightness, and even weakness. That's why today, I want to talk with you heart to heart about 6 essential nutrients that can help prevent those painful leg cramps and keep your legs strong, steady, and dependable. Now, let's ease into the first key player, magnesium. You might have heard of it, maybe even seen it on a supplement bottle. But magnesium is like a backstage manager at a concert. It is running the whole show without ever stepping into the spotlight. It helps your muscles relax after they contract. Without enough magnesium, your muscles can get stuck in that tense, on position, which is exactly what happens during a cramp. It's like your leg is saying, I don't know how to let go. The good news? Magnesium is hiding in so many tasty, everyday foods. Think leafy greens like spinach, nuts like almonds or cashews, and even a comforting bowl of oatmeal. And if you're someone who deals with chronic cramps or muscle twitches, it might be worth talking to your doctor about a low-dose magnesium supplement. Just make sure it fits safely with any medications you're already on. Now let's talk about another unsung hero, potassium. Most people think of bananas when they hear the word, and they're not wrong. But potassium is so much more than a fruit sidekick. It's the nutrient that keeps your muscle contractions smooth and your nerves firing just right. When potassium levels drop, your muscles get confused. They don't contract smoothly. They spasm. That's where those sudden toe-curling cramps can creep in. The best part? You don't have to eat a dozen bananas a day to stay protected. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, avocados, even oranges and yogurt. These are rich, delicious sources of potassium that you can easily include in your day. And if you've been avoiding salt because of blood pressure, you might be missing out on potassium-rich salt substitutes. But always check with your healthcare provider before making changes there. You might be wondering, why does my body start missing these things now? And that's a great question. As we age, everything slows down just a bit. Our digestion, our absorption, even our sense of thirst. That means we're not just eating a little less. We're also getting less from what we eat. It becomes easier than ever to fall into a quiet nutrient deficiency without even realizing it, until our legs start screaming in the middle of the night. That's why learning about these nutrients now is so powerful. It's not about overhauling your entire diet or buying a cabinet full of pills. It's about making small, meaningful shifts in what we put on our plates and how we care for our bodies. And while we're here, let me share a quick story. My neighbor Linda, who's in her early 70s, used to joke that her legs had a mind of their own. She'd be sitting on her couch enjoying a good book and bam, a sudden cramp would have her hopping up, massaging her calf, trying everything she could think of. We sat down one afternoon and walked through some of the basics you're hearing now. She started adding more magnesium and potassium-rich foods to her meals, drank more water, and within 2 weeks she said, I finally had a night without waking up in pain. Her voice had a kind of relief I'll never forget, because when you've been dealing with pain silently, even one quiet night feels like a miracle. So, we've talked about magnesium and potassium, 2 of the strongest allies your legs could ask for. But we were just getting started, because there are still other nutrients that play a huge role in your leg strength and comfort, especially as you age. Now that we've given magnesium and potassium the spotlight they deserve, let's move forward to another nutrient that often slips under the radar, calcium. You've probably heard calcium mentioned 1,000 times in commercials about bone health, but here is something they don't always tell you. Calcium isn't just for bones. It's also a major player in muscle function. When your calcium levels dip too low, your muscles can become irritable, almost like they're on edge, ready to cramp at the slightest trigger. Think of it like a light switch flickering because there's not enough electricity flowing properly. Your muscles need just the right amount of calcium to contract and relax smoothly. And where do we get it? Dairy is the obvious one. Milk, cheese, yogurt. But if you're lactose intolerant or just not a fan, don't worry. Leafy greens like kale, bok choy, and even fortified plant-based milks can be great sources. Just a gentle reminder here, balance is key. Too much calcium, especially from supplements, can create other issues, so always keep your doctor in the loop before adding anything new. Next up is something you might not expect, vitamin D. It doesn't directly cause leg cramps if you're low on it, but it's absolutely essential for helping your body absorb calcium. Imagine trying to pour water into a closed bottle. Without vitamin D, your body struggles to open up and receive that calcium you're giving it. And here is the kicker. Many older adults are deficient in vitamin D without even knowing it, especially if they don't get much sunlight or live in colder climates. That's why getting a little sun each day, even just 10-15 minutes, can make a big difference. But if getting outdoors isn't easy or your skin doesn't synthesize vitamin D as efficiently anymore, a supplement might help. Again, not medical advice. Just a friendly nudge to check with your healthcare provider during your next visit. Foods like salmon, egg yolks, and fortified cereals also carry a decent dose of vitamin D. Let me share another moment with you. This one's about George. He's 68, retired, and loves gardening. But one summer he started feeling unsteady while tending to his plants. His legs would feel shaky after just a short time standing, and sometimes cramps would catch him off guard, even in broad daylight. He mentioned it in passing during a neighborly chat, and when I asked if he'd had his vitamin D levels checked lately, he laughed and said, "Sunshine, I've got more of that than I know what to do with." But a quick blood test later, he found out his levels were way below normal. He started taking a low-dose supplement on his doctor's advice, and within weeks, he said he felt like his legs had recharged. Sometimes, it really is the small things. While we're on the subject of muscle support, let's talk about a nutrient that's often overlooked, magnesium's partner in crime, sodium. Now I know, sodium gets a bad rap, and rightly so when it comes to blood pressure. But here is the truth. Too little sodium can also mess with your body's ability to hold on to water and maintain proper muscle balance, especially if you've been sweating more than usual. Gardening, walking outside, or even just dealing with a hot summer day, losing sodium through sweat can throw off your electrolyte balance. That's when cramps come knocking. The key isn't to load up on salty snacks, it's to maintain balance. A light sprinkle of sea salt on your meals, some broth-based soups, or even an electrolyte drink now and then can help, especially if you've been losing fluids. But again, if you've got high blood pressure or heart concerns, always run this by your doctor before adjusting your intake. These nutrients don't work in isolation. They're a team, each one helping the others do their job better. That's what makes the body so amazing. When we give it the right building blocks, it can surprise us with how resilient and strong it still is. And I want you to remember something. You're not too old to feel better. You're not too old to take control of your health. Every healthy step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward more freedom, more strength, and fewer interruptions to the life you love living. Sometimes it's as simple as switching your afternoon snack, getting a bit of sunshine, or adding a new veggie to your plate. It's not about perfection, it's about consistency. And when those leg cramps ease up, when you can sleep through the night or walk a little longer without stopping, that's the reward. Not just comfort, but confidence. Now, before we wrap up, let's talk about one final, but incredibly powerful nutrient, vitamin B1, also known as thiamine. This might not be one you hear about often, but don't let that fool you. It plays a key role in helping your muscles get the energy they need. Think of thiamine like a fuel injector in a car engine. Without it, everything starts to slow down, misfire, or sputter. And in your body, that means tired, twitchy, or cramping muscles. B1 helps convert the food you eat into energy that your nerves and muscles use to function properly. And while it's often overshadowed by other big-name vitamins, a deficiency in B1 can absolutely show up as weakness, leg heaviness, or sudden nighttime cramps. You can get more B1 from foods like whole grains, peas, pork, and sunflower seeds. But here, something important. A lot of older adults aren't absorbing B vitamins as efficiently as they used to, especially if they're on certain medications or drinking alcohol regularly. That is why it is a smart move to check your levels if you are frequently feeling weak, or if those leg cramps are starting to feel like regular visitors. A basic blood test and a chat with your doctor could give you the answers, and maybe even a little relief. At this point, we've walked through the 6 nutrients your legs are practically begging for: magnesium, potassium, calcium, vitamin D, sodium, and vitamin B1. Together, they form a sort of muscle support team that helps your legs not only stay strong and flexible, but also bounce back from daily strain without locking up. And while the idea of changing your diet or adding supplements might feel overwhelming at first, it's really about small, steady steps. The kind that build up day by day into a life that feels better, freer, and less interrupted by those annoying, painful cramps. Now, if there's one thing I'd love for you to take away from all of this, it's this: your body is still listening. Even now, in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, it responds, it heals, it strengthens. The aches, the pains, the cramps, they're not just something you have to put up with, they're signals. And when we learn to listen, to respond with care, nutrition, and a little extra love, the results can be pretty amazing. So take a moment and think about one small thing you could do today. Maybe add a handful of almonds to your afternoon snack. Maybe get outside and soak in the sun for a few peaceful minutes. Or maybe it's just choosing water over that second cup of coffee. Tiny shifts, done consistently, can change everything. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you experienced leg cramps before? What have you tried that worked or didn't? Your story might just help someone else reading along who feels exactly the same. And if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. This channel is all about helping you feel stronger, healthier, and more in control at any age. Here's to fewer cramps, stronger steps, and waking up with legs that are ready to carry you anywhere you want to go. You've got this.